Hello there, only me. Just going to, I tell you what I might do is just turn the brightness up on the screen recording and it might make it seem a bit brighter. What I'm going to talk about for my second video today isn't really very Eastery. In fact, it might not be appropriate for younger viewers or for people of a temperament that might be quite sensitive to complex social themes or graphic interpretations of criminal behaviour. As I said, I'm actually at Signet Stoke at the moment. That's a hospital in Weston-super-Mare. As you can see, I've not had a shave today, and I've been here for many months, since August or so. But there's a lot of different things that people sort of end up in prison or mental hospital for doing, and there's lots of things that go on in prisons and mental hospitals, and not all of them are very nice, and there's a lot of things that go on in society that are just really not very nice either. Today, I wanted to talk about gang rape. This is a Wikipedia page for gang rape, and it's not a very nice topic. It's not very, you might say it's a bit inappropriate for Easter, and I'd probably agree, except for all the people who are the victims of it over Easter, who would say that they probably really want you to know that that's what's going on, and they'd probably really want your help, and they'd probably do anything they could to try and make it stop happening to them. So in scholarly literature and criminology, gang rape, also called serial gang rape, party rape, group rape, or multiple perpetrator rape, is the rape of a single victim by two or more violators. Gang rapes are forged on shared identity, religion, ethnic group, or race. There are multiple motives for serial gang rape, such as for sexual entitlement, asserting sexual prowess, war, punishment, and in up to 30% of cases for targeting racial minorities, religious minorities, or ethnic groups. Gang rapes can be part of genocidal rape or ethnic cleansing campaign. Gang rapes in literature. In the Hebrew Bible documents two narratives of gang rapes: the famous account of Sodom and the story of the Levite concubine in Gibeah, presented as a doublet with mimicking literary structure to the former. Both instances result in the judgment of God through destruction and war, respectively. Perpetrator characteristics. Gang rapes are typically perpetrated by two or more men and tend to have somewhat different characteristics than rapes by individuals. For instance, gang rapists tend to be younger and are often repeat offenders, and the gang's more likely to be under the influence of drugs or alcohol. Gang rapes are more violent on average compared to its individual counterpart, with significantly more sexual and non-sexual injuries to the victim. The gang members also typically dehumanise the victim more before and during the rape. Gang rapes are almost always premeditated in their intent, target victims, social proof, and psychological causes. Social factors such as civil wars, hate propaganda, and ethnic conflicts increase the rates of gang rape. Gang members often have a binding force, such as the same race or place of residence. That makes sense. Thereby conforming a close-knit peer pressure group encouraged by the behaviour of their fellow criminals. Gang rape can result from a criminal spin in which the group starts with less serious offences, which ultimately lead them to go on beyond their initial intention. In 2013, a study based on a 25-year crime data from US and Europe, between 10 and 20% of all rapes were gang rapes. Less than 1 in 3 gang rapes are reported, while 1 in 20 attempt but failed gang rapes are reported. The motives. Sometimes it's apparently for sexual entitlement and entertainment. A 2013 Lancet report found that among the motives for rape was sexual entitlement and seeking entertainment. Associated factors in the crime included alcohol misuse, poverty, personal history of childhood victimisation, need to prove heterosexual performance, dominance over women, and participation in gangs and related activities. Sorry, I'm really not good at speaking today. As of September 2013, according to the report, most cases were not reported to law enforcement, and just 23% of single or multiple perpetrator rapes were reported by victims ended in prison sentence. The 1886 Mount Rene rape case in Sydney, Australia, falls in this category. Rapes as an act of war rape. Gangs during civil wars and ethnic riots take added dimension of becoming a means of revenge, sending a message to victims' community, including fearing the opponent, creating a sense of solidarity among the soldiers or militants in that group. At least 20,000 women were gang raped or raped afterwards of the killing of the Nanjing Massacre, also known as the Rape of Nanjing, during the Second Sino-Japanese War. Most ethnic conflicts and wars within the last 50 years have witnessed a campaign of gang rapes. Rape by Soviet soldiers and the Mujahideen rape and killings by the American soldiers are examples of such war crimes. The Congo War saw thousands of gang rapes every week, with each relief centre reporting 10 or more daily victims of gang rape, with battering of women. The Rwandan genocide of '94 witnessed numerous gang rapes by soldiers. The Bosnian War, the 1990s, saw a similar campaign of gang rapes. In the 1990s, Kashmir region was a battlefield between jihadists and the Indian armed forces. Also saw a number of gang rapes which were penetrated by both sides of the conflict to instill fear in the population of each side. In the noughties, civil war-torn countries such as Sudan, Afghanistan and Syria reported high rates of gang rapes by government soldiers, security forces, insurgents and militias. Similar incidents have been recorded in Libya and Mali. During the recent Russian-Ukrainian war, especially after the start of the full-scale Russian invasion, numerous cases of gang rapes of Ukrainian women and men, including children, by Russian soldiers were recorded. That's including children. That's awful, isn't it? It's alleged that there were several cases of rape and sexual assault on October the 7th attack by Hamas soldiers. In the aftermath, in which Israel began arresting Palestinian civilians and bombing the Gaza Strip, dozens of alleged cases of sexual assault and rape by IDF soldiers against Palestinian detainees of all ages, both male and female, were encountered by prisoners. As punishment, a 2013 Lancet report on rape and gang rape in Bangladesh, China, Cambodia, Indonesia, Papua New Guinea and Sri Lanka found that crime was committed for various motives, including as a means to inflict punishment on the victim. Traditionally, the Cheyenne people of North America used gang rape as a punishment for female transgressions. A similar practice exists among the Munduruku people of South America. I hope I'm saying this right, for all the people in South Africa, Mpumalanga province of South Africa, there are instances of gang rape as punishment. In Argentina and Pakistan, gang rape's been reported to have been ordered as punishment. Religious or racial factors. Though having some race or religion often acts as a binding force for creating a close-knit serial rape gangs, studies reported that 30% of these shared identity rape gangs specifically target people of another religion or race. This is an incomplete list of countries where government media have acknowledged the problem of gang rape. Study found that gang rape involves more alcohol and drug use, night attacks and severe sexual assault outcomes, and less victim resistance and fewer weapons than individual rapes. Another study found that group sexual assaults are more violent, and it goes on to list all the countries: Bangladesh, China, Egypt, France, Brazil, Germany, India, and Iran and Malaysia. It happens all over the world. I don't know. I can't see UK on the list yet. We've got United Kingdom. There we go. So the UK authorities have not separately collected data on gang rapes until the 2011 Child Exploitation and Online Protection Centre report on localised grooming, entitled "Out of Mind, Out of Sight," which only ever deals with adolescent victims. However, Scotland Yard expressed concern in 2009 over the risk of gang sex attacks in London, detailing an increase of 71 cases in 03 and 04 to 93 cases in 08 and 09. Media reports of gang rapes in the UK often racially charged since late 2000. This is due to a particular pattern of repeated non-white perpetrated gang rapes in the metropolitan areas. The Rochdale sex trafficking gang would later epitomise the phenomenon. The Home Office report of 2013 would describe these cases as showing a particular model of organised, serious exploitation and abuse that involved predominantly Pakistani heritage men grooming and abusing predominantly white British girls. The report stressed that the government does not believe localised grooming is an intrinsic of any culture, religion or race, despite acknowledging the phenomenon. In March 2014, Crime Prevention Minister Norman Baker described groundbreaking work to identify women and girls who can get drawn into gangs. Girls associated with gang rape can face sexual violence, and we've provided £1.2 million for 13 young people's advocates to support those at risk, he said on the launch of the report by the Centre for Social Justice, a think tank established by Ian Duncan Smith in 2002, who was a cabinet minister. I mean, yeah, it does go on, unfortunately. As I said, I'm at Signet Q Stoke in Weston-super-Mare. I'm in Hayward Ward. There's no gang rapes happening here. I wouldn't put a video on YouTube, saying that there were gang rapes happening on this ward or that there were women being held on this ward prisoner, because that's not true. That would just be absurd for me to say something like that, or to allege that it had ever happened anywhere because my light's gone off. It's a bit dicky, my light. There we go. It's at its day. It was only a cheap one from B&M. Yeah, so you know, fortunately that's not going on here. If it was, I don't know what I'd do. You know, especially if, well, I just, yeah. I mean, it's a horrible thing for it to happen anyway. Obviously, it's an all-male ward, so yeah. I don't really know what kind of spurred me on to want to make this video. It just, I think someone said something about it earlier, and I just thought, you know, I wonder if people don't know what that term means, or maybe if they can't imagine what it's actually like to have that happen to you, like on a frequent basis or in an incarcerated, institutionalised environment. Yeah. If you do know anyone that's guilty of gang rape, don't help them out. Don't do favours for them. Don't try and cover up for them or sort of dilute the narrative of key witnesses or do anything other than report them to the security services, and don't ever talk to them again. That's what I would do if I was you. But you know, choice is yours. You can live your own life as you see fit. You haven't got to take sides. If you don't want to, you can, you know, just remain impartial and neutral. And yeah, I mean, you haven't got to listen to anything that I've got to say or that it says on Wikipedia. You haven't got to do anything that you don't want to do, unless of course it's you getting gang raped, in which case you will have to do something that you don't want to do, and you won't have any autonomy or decision making sort of capacity in the matter. But anyway, that's the end of this video. If you'd like to read the rest of that article on Wikipedia, please feel free to Google it, and I hope that you have a peaceful, relaxed and loving Easter with your consensual consecutive other and your friends and your family in your homes, and you eat lots of chocolate.